The Indiana Pacers once again. Scott Pollard will get the starting nod at center with Ron Artest and Jermaine O'Neal at the forwards. Anthony Johnson and Stephen Jackson in the backcourt. Jamal Tinsley is available. He's dressed but will be coming off the bench. Former Pacer Primoz Brezec along with Keith Bogans up front. Rookie of the year last season, Emeka Okafor at center. This year, rookie Raymond Felton getting the start with Kareem Rush in the backcourt. Rick Carlisle, 3 days off. You know, the NBA, you talk about back-to-backs, 4 games in 5 nights. Where's the back-to-back when they needed it? But they've had 3 days to think of what happened in Milwaukee. Look to take it out on Bernie Bickerstaff's young team. For Bernie last night, they lost in Orlando, 85-77, 5th loss in a row, and Bernie Bickerstaff concerned the team's lack of effort of late, and also on the St. Vincent injury update, Gerald Wallace is out with a wrist injury for 3 games. They've lost all 3. Melvin Ely is out for the last 2 games, and Brevin Knight, their point guard, their playmaker, the straw that stirs the drink here in Charlotte. Tendonitis in the knee happened last night against Orlando. So 3 key players out for Charlotte. And the Pacers quickly take it inside to Stephen Jackson, looking to pound away against a Charlotte team that is short up front. And here is Raymond Felton, the 5th pick out of North Carolina. He, along with Sean May, coming from the championship team. Both drafted in the first round by the Bobcats with that local touch. Emeka Okafor, who has been struggling. So, Clark, I suppose the Bobcats will be trying to get him going in a hurry.
Yeah, they would like to see him shoot much better than he has. This team has only made 38% of their shots in the last 5 games. And Okafor, the outstanding rookie season he had, has not been followed up here in the early going of his second season, only shooting 39% from the floor and has not been the consistent double-double guy he was a year ago.
Kareem Rush, who came over from the Lakers last year at 6'6" and 215, trying to contend with a post-up play of Stephen Jackson. So Jackson already has 1 bucket and now 1 foul on Rush and Jackson to the foul line.
You talked about the Bobcats being short up front, but they're also small in the backcourt. And you look at Stephen Jackson going against Kareem Rush, he has about 3 inches on him. That's not abnormal or unique because Jackson is a tall 2 guard, but the free throw shooting woes continue.
Question of how would the Pacers deal with it. They are a good foul shooting team, and all the players on the floor were good foul shooters who have made foul shots in closing moments. Pacers not dwelling on it, and because of that, just kind of moving on. Don't want to put it in their heads and make anything too big. But with Jackson, who is one of the excellent foul shooters, who missed a few big ones late in the 4th quarter, seems to have taken its toll here early.
A long way to go. Hopefully he'll refine that 80% free throw shooting stroke.
Kareem Rush banks one in from the outside. The scouting report going against Charlotte, among many things, number 1 and circled in red is just pack it in and let them try to beat you from the outside. And there is Jermaine O'Neal. So the Pacers have basically banged it inside every time down. And Indiana with the 2-point lead. Pacers last year won all 3 games against the Bobcats, although they were all close ball games against the first-year team. There's Felton in the lane. Artest fights for the rebound, scrambling out, being ridden by Kareem Rush. Jackson is open. He shoots. He scores. Stephen Jackson swishing it in. And the last 4 games, Jackson has been on target, shooting 50% from the floor. He hit 9 of 18 from 3-point range and 17 points per ball game.
But when he takes high-quality shots, he doesn't just think about casting up the first available shot. He's a terrific offensive player and an outstanding shooter.
And the Pacers running it on the Bobcats. It's Indiana ball.
He's also done a nice job in the assist category. A 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio coming into tonight's game for Stephen Jackson.
Rick Carlisle has seen his team really kind of come into focus second half against Miami as Artest just forget about it going in there against smaller Bobcat contingent.
Well, you look across every matchup, the Pacers have a size advantage. That time, Felton got into the lane and recaptures his own miss. I mean, you look at Bogans trying to deal with Artest, Rush trying to handle Steven Jackson. Take a look at the penetration here by Felton. Tough shot, but he's the first guy to react to the miss of that shot. And able to get himself to the line. I've always said when you miss one in close, you usually are the one who knows where it's coming off and have the best chance to chase down that offensive rebound if you're attentive.
Bobcats last night in their loss against Orlando, no starters finished in double figures, and no starter went to the foul line. So this is the first foul shot by a starter, and it's actually a bench guy getting his first ever start in Raymond Felton. Pacers have scored in all 5 of their attempts to open up this ball game. Right now, the Bobcats have been defenseless against the bigger Pacers. O'Neal gets it back. No look to Jackson all alone, and Jackson now is 3 of 3 of the Pacers' 6 of 6 start. And that one compliments of Jermaine O'Neal. And the Pacers off to a 12-5 lead that is off Charlotte and out of bounds. This looks to be a huge uphill climb for the Bobcats, missing 3 of their key players. And to start with, they're a second-year expansion team, but they come up with the loose ball. Bobcats are #1 in the league in steals at 12 per ball game. They force 20 turnovers per game, which also leads the league. They go to the foul line more than any team. But Clark in the last 5 games are only scoring 88 points per.
Well, 38% field goal shooting will tell you why that is.
Jermaine O'Neal buries the ball, and the Pacers continue their perfect assault. That's enough for Bernie Bickerstaff. He calls a timeout. Pacers on the rampage. They are perfect so far tonight. On the back of Jermaine O'Neal is number 7. That's how many shots the Pacers have made, and that's the 7th one they've hit. Bobcats Arena, modeled after Conseco Fieldhouse. You see on the scoreboard, Pacers are making themselves feel at home. Same architectural firm, Ellaby Beckett. Conseco is the first retro. Since then, San Antonio, Memphis, and now Charlotte. And there is the $5 million high-definition scoreboard hanging above. And right now, not many points on the board for the hometown Bobcats. Pollard all over Brezets. Pacers just moving the Bobcats away from the basket. Okafor, Kareem Rush is their outside threat. Felton 2 on the shot clock, heaves up a 3, and it's off of Charlotte and out of bounds. Charlotte won 2 of their first 3 ball games, first time they've ever been over 500, and that the loss was opening night in Chicago, and they blew a 23-point lead heading into the 4th quarter and lost in overtime. Kareem in a rush, and there is a steal/turnover resulting in a basket for Charlotte. Rick Carlisle in front of his bench doesn't want something like that to wake up the Bobcats.
Well, if you're the Pacers, you've made 7 of 7 until that turnover, and you've got 12 of your 14 points in the paint. Well, if you handle the ball effectively, you should be able to get whatever you want when you want it. Just like that, Jackson right to the rim.
Heavy work for Steven Jackson, taking advantage of Kareem Rush on the other end of the floor. Jackson has hit all 4 of his shots, leads the way with 8 points. Keith Bogans, Felton, will help quarterback North Carolina the national championship, leaving after his junior season, and he draws the foul. O'Neal gets the personal foul. So Bernie Bickerstaff, with a young team, can't match talent around the league, going for a very aggressive ball club, and they've come through as far as steals are concerned. Jackson settles for the 3, and that's his first miss tonight. Pacers have been banging it inside. They've outscored the Bobcats 14-4 in the paint, and Bogans able to slip by Jermaine O'Neal. Halfway through this first quarter, Bobcats have lost 3 of their first 4 on their home floor. Artest wants it against Bogans. He's strong, but can't match up size-wise with Artest. And floating it in, a rainbow from downtown, Stephen Jackson, who is on fire here in this first quarter. He has 11 of the Pacer 19 points. Okafor inside, blocked by Pollard and fouled by Pollard. So Okafor struggling with his shot. Pollard, along with David Harrison, suited up tonight. First time Pacers have the two centers available for a game.
And that's always nice for Jermaine O'Neal, who has had to man a number of minutes at the center position. He's capable, but certainly it takes its toll over time. So to have Pollard available and David Harrison, who's about to check in at the scorer's table now.
This is as complete as the Pacers have been so far this year. The only regular who is not dressed here tonight is Jeff Foster. He's on the inactive list along with Samaki Walker and Eddie Gill. Foster hoping to come back right after Thanksgiving, perhaps somewhere on the West Coast trip. Okafor hits the two foul shots. Pollard goes out with the two fouls. There is Jeff Foster, itching to get back on, and I think it's when Foster comes back on and these players now get a chance in whole to play together. You'll start seeing the identity of this 2005-2006 Pacer team take form.
I talked to Rick Carlisle a little bit before the game, and he felt pretty comfortable with a lot of the things that his team did in the game in Milwaukee. Defensively, he thought it was their best effort, but I asked him about the rotation situation, and he said it's coming. And the points you make about Foster's return to the lineup, as Jermaine O'Neal called for a goaltend, will allow them to finally get to the point where they can have all of their pieces in place.
This was a week ago in Miami. The tough fall by David Harrison.
Actually fell over Fred Jones there as he went up to deny that shot attempt.
Denting his back and also the lane area at Conseco Fieldhouse. He has only missed 2 games that looked much worse than it turned out to be. Thank goodness for Harrison. And we have a 3-second violation called. Jermaine O'Neal in the lane too long. So here's Harrison did such a great job over the summer, getting down to a svelte 280 pounds, looked extremely alive on the floor, getting ready to start this season, and that really put him back because he missed 7 of the 8 preseason games, rejoining the team for the final preseason game. And now working his way back in shape. Near a steal, and it's a foul against Okafor. And the Pacers will have the ball. Well, these two teams, it's a back-to-back series. Pacers will host the Bobcats Friday night at Conseco Fieldhouse, and to mark the beginning of balloting for the 2006 All-Star Game, the first 6,000 fans will receive a 2006 Pacers All-Star poster. For tickets, there's the number to call, 1-800-4NBA-TICKS, or just log on to Pacers.com. Traveling violation.
Just took a shot with his left knee trying to get over the screen. As the Pacers turn it over, but he's headed to the bench anyway as Kevin Burleson comes in.
Out of Minnesota, as well as Sean May, Bloomington North High School star, national championship at North Carolina last year, 13th pick in the draft. And there is May, who has been playing some very good basketball of late. He has actually been the highlight for the Bobcats the last couple of ball games. Goes to work immediately on Harrison. This is Bogans. May takes the shot. That has been the biggest question about Sean May as he becomes a pro, whether he could hit that outside shot. There's no question he is able to maneuver inside with that big body.
Yeah, and he's got terrific hands and good footwork. Still trying to figure out how to get off his post shots on a consistent basis against the athleticism of the power forwards in this league, but I think he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Jackson passes it up to Jermaine O'Neal, who draws the foul. Congestion inside, and they'll make the call against Sean May.
Penetration against Stephen Jackson, doing a nice job driving, drawing defenders, and then finding J.O. So again, the Bobcats don't have much in the way of shot blocking. Pacers have a size advantage at just about every spot. It'll be a real tough night for the Bobcats if the Pacers probe inside and take care of the ball.
Emeka Okafor sitting it out. Jermaine O'Neal, who missed some of the foul shots down the stretch against Milwaukee. And Jermaine, going into that fourth quarter, had been shooting 84% from the foul line for the young season, but he comes back to make the second one. So Jermaine with 7 points. You just saw the healthy numbers he had put up. Jermaine, he's averaging 22 a game. Tops for Indiana, just a shade ahead of Ron Artest. Sharunas Jasikevičius and Fred Jones in there. Another steal by Charlotte. And Bogans runs into Harrison, but Harrison underneath the basket is called for the personal foul.
That's one thing Keith Bogans did last night on his way to 18 points was aggressively take the ball to the hoop. And that's one way to try to get your shooting percentage up. Get it inside and try to get some easy scores in the paint. Or if nothing else, get yourself to the foul line.
O'Neal comes out, replaced by Austin Crozier. Ron Artest looking for a position on the floor. Steven Jackson also after a potent 11-point first quarter. Pacers now have Jasikevičius and Fred Jones, along with Crozier, Artest, and Harrison up front. Rick Carlisle tonight also looking to wear down a depleted Bobcat ball club who played last night. Bogans a season high of 18. He was the high man for Charlotte. His third season out of Kentucky. Scott Pollard getting his second consecutive start. Now resting on the bench. Jasikevičius racing with the rookie Burleson out of Minnesota. Artest gets the step, gets the foul, and gets the basket. Just too strong as Bogans trying to hang on to Artest's arm, but to no avail, and it could be a three-point play.
Well, small forwards have a tough time dealing with Artest. It's a clear mismatch when you're trying to defend him with a two-guard, even though Bogans is very physical, well-built. He's given up far too much size and strength to Ron Artest.
Pacers have missed 4 of their first 5 foul shots. Burleson deep. Harrison gets in the middle of that one. Pacers, though, from the floor, are shooting 11 of 12 from the field. 92% from the field, 20% from the foul line. Usually on certain nights it's the other way around. That is Sean May.
There's an example of the excellent hands and the good feet, able to get himself all the way to the rim for a nice score.
And I guess if you had your choice, you'd rather be shooting 92%.
Perhaps for another week and a half to 2 weeks with the wrist injury.
And leading the NBA in steals. He's missed 3 games. Bobcats have lost all 3. Pacers have been near perfect from the field in this game here tonight. But another turnover by Indiana. That is their 6th of the first quarter. Primos, the former Pacer, has been invisible so far. Out of Notre Dame, it's Matt Carroll, number 13. This is Bernard Robinson. Brissett, no. And Artest bangs for the rebound. And Indiana, with 2:20 still remaining in this first quarter, they've hit 11 of 12 from the floor and lead by 7 as Artest walks in but can't complete it. Figure if you hit 11 of 12, you may be leading by more than 7 points.
Good point, Al.
But the missed foul shots again haunting, and also the turnovers helping to keep the hometown Bobcats hanging around. We're at the Charlotte Bobcats Arena. Pacers and the Bobcats on WB4. Al Albert along with Clark Kellogg, Stacey Pates, and Dr. Dunk, Darnell Hillman are back in the studio. There's a foul call against the Bobcats, second-year team. Burleson is hit with his first personal foul. Kevin Burleson, the rookie out of Minnesota. His brother, Nate, wide receiver on the Minnesota Vikings. And he gets a shot here in the NBA. Charlotte has missed 6 of their last 7 attempts. Crozier facing Sean May. Makes the move, gets the step, past the basket. A beautiful reverse by Austin Crozier. And the Pacers' lead is now 9. That'll be called on Crozier, leaning back on Primož Brezec, who looks to be exhausted at this point. We're only in the first quarter.
Nice job here by Austin just to get inside of May and then use the rim to keep Sean May on his back. Nicely done. Austin came off the bench for the first time Saturday in Milwaukee. 15 minutes, did not score. I think it disrupted his rhythm a little bit coming off the bench. Didn't get the same flow that he had gotten in the prior games as a starter.
First point for Primož Brezec, who played his first 3 years with Indiana. He was a first-round draft pick. Last year, major surprise. Second leading scorer for the Bobcats, became their starting center, averaged 13 points, 7 rebounds a game. And that's essentially what you get from Primož on the offensive end. And he, along with the Bobcat front wall, being picked apart here tonight inside by Indiana. Near steal there by Burleson. And the Pacers will have it. Indiana's WB4 has the best comedy lineup. You could catch Friends and Everybody Loves Raymond. That's weeknights. It starts at 6 on Indiana's WB4. Rick Carlisle now going with Ron Artest, the only starter. 4 players from the bench. Harrison converged upon in the middle, and he just bangs his way in there. So David Harrison has got that nice touch inside and uses the weight to get the position. This is Carroll, good shooter, but off the iron, and Harrison gets up there quickly, but he deflected it out of bounds. Matt Carroll, the all-time leader in three-point shots at Notre Dame, undrafted, played for a couple of teams last year, picked up by Charlotte. He was playing in the developmental league. Crozier gets another foul. Actually, Charlotte was scouting the NBDL for a big man, and Matt Carroll caught their eye. He was the MVP in the league, and Bernie Bickerstaff looking for a shooter. Carroll played with Portland and San Antonio in 2003 and 2004, and last year with the D-League, and then hooking on here from February on. Rookie Danny Granger is in, so he becomes the 10th player on the floor for the Pacers in this first quarter. We still have a minute to go, and Carroll hits 1 of 2. So the Bobcats, who are shooting 6 of 20, while the Pacers are 13 of 15 from the floor, and it's an 8-point game. Artest guarded by Bernard Robinson, and the foul. It is on Robinson. Well, with all the foul shots we saw in the Milwaukee game, tonight we have 2 teams playing, or 2 of the top teams in foul shots attempted in the league. Believe it or not, the Bobcats go to the foul line more than anybody else, 34 times a game. The Pacers are 3rd at 31. Rick Carlisle second-guessing perhaps in the Milwaukee game, maybe this man should have been on the floor, although all 5 guys for Indiana, when you consider you have a 14-point lead with 3.5 minutes to go. He had his best players, best defenders, also guys who were known as good foul shooters.
That's right.
So very hard to second-guess that. But the sureness as this season, especially after Milwaukee, when you come down to the final seconds of a game, may play that Reggie Miller role when you're specifically looking for that foul shot.
I would agree with that in future games when that situation presents itself.
Fred Jones, who had the last 2 shots, made one, missed the other, but here's Fred, was an 85% foul shooter last year. Fast break, and Carroll connects. Now the Pacers will get the last shot. Basket here. They'll take a double figures lead out of the first quarter. No look to Artest. Springs for 3. And that will end it. So the Indiana Pacers sizzling shooting from the floor, basically attacking inside against the young Bobcats. Hit 13 of 17 from the field, put up 30 on the scoreboard, and lead by 8. Pacers lead at 30-22 after 1 quarter. We begin the second. Raymond Felton, Sean May, the 2 lottery picks in there at the same time. Okafor, last year's Rookie of the Year, second pick in the draft. He gets into it, so Okafor with 8 points. Over the last 4 games, he's only been averaging 9 points per ball game, and there is Okafor on the board. Charlotte, in the last 2 games, have been out-rebounded by a total of 41 rebounds. Hard to imagine. Although even with the Pacers in the first quarter. Let's take a look at the key statistics brought to you by Finish Line. Pacers, that is their shooting from the field, 13 of 17. And starting to feel it at the foul line. Pacers went into the Milwaukee game as the 3rd leading foul shooting team in the NBA.
Made only 31 of 47 in that game total. 15 of 26 in the 4th quarter.
Jermaine O'Neal, perfect in the first quarter, 3 of 3 for 7 points. And we have a whistle against Charlotte.
Well, Al, despite the sterling and sizzling field goal percentage shooting from the Pacers, the reason the Hornets are close is because of the foul shooting. The Hornets are +5 there. And then also the points off turnovers, where the Hornets are +4. Pacers had 6 turnovers in that first quarter.
But it could be worse. This is as far as turnovers. This is one area which the Bobcats, who turn the ball over more than any team, force it.
Right.
But they don't take advantage. And Bernie Bickerstaff feels this is where he's going to get easy points from his team. But here they have 6 turnovers. Should be worth at least 9 or 10 points.
Right.
Instead, it's only 4. O'Neal chasing it down, and he lost it out of bounds.
That's another turnover. So even when this is a dead ball turnover, so the Pacers should be able to set their defense. But nonetheless, it's an opportunity for the Hornets to cut into the lead. I'm sorry, the Bobcats.
You're not alone. Bobcats here in their new arena. Last year, they played in the old Charlotte Coliseum where the Hornets did play. And still were unable to. It didn't really feel as if Charlotte was their own yet.
Yep.
So this gives them a burst of energy. And here on the opening night, they drew 19,026. The capacity in the grand opening against Boston came back from 12 down in the 4th quarter to beat the Celtics in overtime. A game they will always remember. But since that time, they have lost 3 games in a row here, and now face an early deficit against the Pacers, who they will meet at Conseco Fieldhouse on Friday night, a 7 o'clock start. Sunday, Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady. And the Rockets come to town for the only time this year, and that is also a 7 o'clock start. Another turnover by Indiana, and Felton returns it over.
Well, he was going just a little too fast there. You love the energy. Certainly Bernie Bickerstaff can't be disappointed with the energy of his club so far here tonight in the first 14 minutes. And because of that energy, they've been able to force turnovers, which you've already alluded to. They're the best in the league at that.
And despite the fact the Pacers have shot 72% from the field, it is only a 5-point lead for Indiana. Granger releases, and 2 of the Bobcats are on the board. Felton races it up, but can't make the jump shot. Felton came into this game shooting 27% from the floor, and he's going to get a lot of time here tonight. A question of how far he could go into this game without Brevin Knight, who's out with the knee tendonitis, joining Gerald Wallace and Melvin Ely on the inactive list. Okafor trying to snap out of his 4-game slump. Double-doubles the first 4 games of the year, but not the last 4. That's a basket and a foul. The foul is on Granger away from the basketball at the same time that Bogans hits a 3-point shot. So this could be a 4-point play for Charlotte.
Well, inside-out action, and there you see Danny Granger just grabbing the shoulder of Jake Voskuhl. And Danny Granger will head back to the bench. The Hornets have a chance to get with the Bobcats have a chance to get within 1. Why is this so hard to erase the hard drive?
Well, I think you're looking at the scoreboard, and they have up there actually the Hornets and the Nuggets game, and actually the Hornets are within 1, but it's against the Nuggets.
Thanks for the help. I'll refrain from
just call him Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay, all right.
Voskuhl, who just checked in, the 6-year vet out of Connecticut, makes this a 1-point game. 8-1 run for the Bobcats. O'Neal fights hard, forcing that shot, and the Bobcats can take the lead. Lead pass to Okafor, and there it is. And that brings this crowd to life. Charlotte has erased a 10-point deficit. Rick Carlisle wants to talk it over, and the undermanned Bobcats come alive. Exciting finish, although a harrowing experience for the Indiana Pacers. It was Game 6 of the season. What can the Pacers take out of that to point in any kind of a positive direction?
Well, I talked to Rick Carlisle before the game. He talked about it was their best defensive effort throughout the course of the game so far this season. He liked the fact that they got it spread around and really executed their offense, particularly in that first half.
But I'm talking about the way it ended, so that doesn't happen again.
Well, I mean, heck, shoot, that was so bizarre, Al. I mean, I don't know if you could do anything to say you're going to prevent something like that from happening again. You just have to play basketball and count on your guys who have consistently shown throughout their careers that they're good free throw shooters late, and just chalk that up as an aberration.
Well, it seems to have had its lasting effect here 3-4 days later. Pacers have missed 4 of their first 8 foul shots here tonight. And there is a foul to be called on the Bobcats. It is on Voskuhl. Pacers now with a lineup of Anthony Johnson, Fred Jones, Stephen Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal, and Scott Pollard. Well, Pacers back in action on Indiana's WB4, November 27th, as they open that Western trip with an afternoon game in L.A. against the hot Clippers, 3:30 on Indiana's WB4. So Jackson misses his first 3 foul shots before hitting that. 11-point first quarter for Stephen Jackson. Pacers had been outscored 10-1 to start this second quarter. This is Felton squeezing down the lane. And Felton really has not had much success offensively. 1 of 6 from the field.
He's going to have to learn that he can't get in there with those leaners against a shot blocker like Jermaine O'Neal. He's going to have to master that little mid-range jump shot and establish a little teardrop floater when he goes in the paint.
O'Neal, quick release. And the Pacers, who could hardly miss a shot in the first period, 13 of 17, have missed all 5 in the second quarter, and Keith Bogans nails another 3.
Well, you think about the kind of shots the Pacers took in that first quarter, Al. Everything was in the paint. Here in the second quarter, it's all been 1 or 2 passes and a jump shot. So the quality of the shots taken has gone down.
Pacers
so has the percentage.
And another outside shot. Johnson's 3-point attempt. Pacers scored 30 points in the first quarter. 22 of them were in the paint. Bogans whips the pass, and Voskuhl collides with Scott Pollard, and Scott already has picked up his 3rd personal foul in the 8 minutes on the floor, and he'll be coming to the bench.
Well, the Bobcats doing a nice job attacking inside on that possession. Okafor finds Voskuhl, and Scott Pollard clearly inside the restricted area as Voskuhl cracked right up into him and earns a trip to the foul line. Well, the tenor of this game has really changed from quarter 1 to the first 5 minutes of this second quarter, Al. Part of it is the Pacers settling for perimeter shots to start the second quarter. They had so much success taking their time, getting the ball inside. Now they've energized the Bobcats by settling for perimeter shots, turning the ball over, and now this team has energy and confidence right now.
Well, it's a replay, actually, of Milwaukee going from the first half to the third quarter. And when I asked you before, what do they learn from a night like that?
Well, you know a team's going to make a run.
This is all part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as, you know, you build a big... Hey, listen, they've had big lead, 27 points against the Nets, 20 against Milwaukee, and doing with such force. I mean, this first quarter that they had, they look like they're unstoppable, shredding the Bobcats.
Well, sometimes when it comes so easily, the tendency of human nature is to relax and take a pause, and that's one of the things that if you're a good team, you have to fight through that.
But also, this is a very deep team. Everybody is playing hard to be able to gain more minutes. And this is on number 12, Kevin Burleson, his second personal foul. And the Pacers will have the ball out. Bobcats lead it by 5. And we are midway in the second quarter. Pacers with a record of 4-2, tied with Milwaukee in third place in the Central Division. Detroit undefeated at 7-0. Cleveland has now won 5 in a row. They are 6-2. 1 game ahead of the Pacers and the Bucks. Artest from deep, and Ron Artest nails a three-pointer. So Ron Artest, who this season is now 10 of 19, shooting over 50% from three-point land.
One of the best in the NBA so far here in the early season.
Okafor gets the double team. Rush, the left-hander, and he hits for 3.
Well, we talked about the Bobcats shooting only 38% in their last 5 games. Now, they don't have great shooters, but you know they're a little better than what they've shown.
Rush takes it all the way. Pacers now with 10 turnovers in the first half, and we still have just around 6 minutes to go. And that last turnover has Rick Carlisle calling another timeout. The Bobcats lead extends to 7. Al Harrington and Atlanta the following night. Jamal Tinsley is on the floor for Indiana. The Pacers have been outscored 20-5 in the first 6 minutes of the second period. Charlotte scored 22 minutes in the first quarter, or scored 22 points in the first quarter, and they've scored 20 already halfway through the second. 3-second violation.
Well, you look at the stat sheet, Al. +6 in free throw makes, +8 in points off turnovers for the Bobcats, and that's why they're on top by 7. And another turnover now for the Pacers. That's their 11th.
Okafor wide on the shot. Crozier up front with Artest and O'Neal with Jackson and Tinsley. This for the Pacers, their starting 5 for the first 5 games of the year. Tinsley has not played in a week. He goes to work. Great pass to O'Neal for the finger roll. So Tinsley works his magic immediately, gets the assist, and Jermaine O'Neal able to finish.
Rick Carlisle said he was hoping not to use Tinsley unless he felt like he needed his creativity and what he brings. So obviously that's the case now, as the Pacers have fallen into a bit of an offensive funk here.
Well, Artest with a game face on. You saw moments ago as he walked on the floor against Bogans, who is now lit it up with a back-to-back three-pointers. Tinsley makes the move on the baseline, and this time he sets up Jackson, and he buries the ball. Jamal Tinsley coming off the bench midway in the second quarter, making 2 fabulous plays and getting the Pacers revved up as he just gift wraps it first to O'Neal and then to Jackson. Rush spinning and overplaying and fouling him was Stephen Jackson.
This is what JT can do. He'll give you room service dimes all night off tremendous penetration and clever ball handling. There you see his assist turnover ratio, just about 4-1. And that's in limited playing time here as he continues to battle the sinus infection.
Okafor uses the body. That's the first time in 5 ball games that he has scored more than 4 field goals. That was his 5th.
There was some question about him bulking up perhaps too much in the offseason as O'Neal takes a tough shot. He added about 25 pounds, and sometimes weight, even if it is muscle, is not fruitful or conducive to making you better.
Felton missing again. Pacers at the other end. Throw it away. 3.5 to go in this first half. Bobcats 44 and the Pacers 39. And a timeout taken by Charlotte. They want to talk it over with the basketball and with the lead. We'll be back. that has kept him out essentially the last 2 ball games. He did not play in Milwaukee. Played just 6 minutes against Philadelphia. Started, but could not go any longer. And returning tonight, Rick Carlisle bringing him off the bench. And he has ignited Indiana to 2 beautiful-looking baskets. This is Okafor fighting for it inside. And it will be the second personal foul on Jermaine O'Neal. So Emeka Okafor coming alive here in tonight's game. Last night, going up against Dwight Howard, last year's first and second picks in the draft. Okafor at number 2, 1 Rookie of the Year, and that's certainly on the mind of the 19-year-old Dwight Howard of the Magic, who went for 21 points and 20 rebounds against Okafor.
That 2020 club is rarefied air, Al. And that kid, Dwight Howard's going to be an outstanding pro. Continuing to get better as he polishes up his post-up game. He's going to be really hard to deal with at the power forward position.
But it's 14 tonight for Okafor. He's a high man for the Bobcats. Steven Jackson leads the Pacers, the only man in double figures with 14. Tinsley with a crossover dribble working on the rookie Felton. Jermaine O'Neal having difficulty holding on to the basketball and then forces up a shot. Jermaine with 5 turnovers of the Pacers' 12.
Well, he's gotten caught a couple of times, Al. The Bobcats do a nice job digging in when the post player puts it on the floor. And Jermaine has picked up a couple of turnovers when he's tried to dribble in the shooting position in the post.
I think the Pacers right now, primary concern is winning. Secondary is make sure Primo does not score a basket. The former Pacer, and every time he gets close, he's now missed 3. He's been inside. Pacers just seem to converge on Primoz Brzezinski when he gets the basketball. Hogans has had the hot shot from the outside, and now it is Tinsley leading the attack for Indiana. Jackson, he ate up Kareem Rush in the first quarter. And that's a defensive 3 seconds on Raymond Felton. The officials getting some help from Rick Carlisle there. Jack Neese, Michael Smith, Derek Collins, the officials in tonight's game. So the Pacers will get a foul shot. And here is the call as Jackson working on his man. But Felton was off of his man and outside of the lane.
And Steven Jackson also got a technical there as he brushed up against Kareem Rush after the play was over.
The Bobcats will shoot first. Kareem Rush at the line, shooting technical.
So at the other end of the floor, it is Kareem Rush, who oddly enough is a 56% foul shooter, at least this year. And now the Pacers will try to get that back. Reminder, Pacers in the Houston Rockets game on Sunday has been changed to that 7 o'clock start. It's Pacers Kids Day, presented by AAA Hoosier Motor Club, featuring contests and autographs and much, much more. And tickets are available at Ticketmaster. Tracy McGrady, Yao Ming, special night at Conseco Fieldhouse, the only time those two will be in Indianapolis this season. So Crozier is the man who goes to the foul line to hit that tee. Pacers get the ball back. 2 tees nullify one another. O'Neal, Artest steps back for 3. Now over Felton, fading away, and he rolls that one in. Ron Artest, who has done some heavy work on his shooting, just adds that to the arsenal. He's becoming one of the unstoppable players in the NBA. He becomes the second Pacer in double figures with 11. He's there this time. Nobody going to stop Primoz Brzezinski. He gets his first field goal of the night.
That was well executed there, Al, as Okafor went to the high post. Little high-low action and a nice feed by last year's Rookie of the Year.
Minute and a half left in this first half. Artest, 3 men on him, and will get to the foul line. So now the Pacers once again starting to bang it inside. Brzezinski has his first personal foul. Pacers led 30-22 at the end of the first quarter, hitting 13 of 17 shots from the floor, 77%. But the Bobcats taking advantage of turnovers, missed foul shots by Indiana, and have turned a 10-point deficit into a 7-point lead. Ron Artest trying to do something about that. Well, he's missed his 2 foul shots here tonight. Ron has been to the foul line about 10 times per ball game. Is Sean May back in the lineup? May last night against Orlando, his first pro double-double with 15 points and 10 rebounds.
Ron, talk about 10 free throw attempts per game, only shooting 68% from the line coming into tonight's game. You get that up around 75 or better, that's a point and a half, 2 points extra per ball game.
Pacers 7 of 13 from the foul line. Pacers coaching staff looking past the Milwaukee finish at the foul line, figuring it is a good foul shooting team, doesn't want it to get into the Pacers' heads, but it seems to have here in this first half. Artest pulls his way in, and Ron Artest grinding it away, and he now has 14 points to tie Steven Jackson for the team lead. Final minute of play. Undermanned Bobcat team, well, just to start with, is a second-year club, but tonight, without Gerald Wallace, their leading scorer, without Brevin Knight, their quarterback, one of the top assist men in the league, but they got Kareem Rush going from the outside. That's his second 3 of the night. And a foul slows things down, and it is on Rush, his second personal foul. So this Bobcat team, who came in losing 5 in a row, scoring 88 points a night in those 5, 38% from the floor, and here they are at 54 points at halftime, and they have the shooting up to 44%.
That's what they shot in their first 2 wins out, right around 43, 44%. And it's always a dangerous team that you face when they've hit a lull or a bad stretch, because you know in this league teams aren't going to stay in bad stretches. And so far tonight, now Rush, after knocking down the perimeter shot, guys get up into him a little bit, he's able to turn the corner and penetrate into the lane. So not only are the turnovers a problem and missed free throws, but the Pacers not doing the job defensively. The Bobcats able to kind of get what they want here in the second quarter.
No matter who is left dressed as a Bobcat. So the concern on the look of the coaching staff. And here is Rush, 20th pick in the first round out of Missouri. Remember when he came out, many of the pundits had said that he was going to be selected 14th by the Indiana Pacers. Pacers, of course, opting for Fred Jones. And Rush was drafted by Toronto and then traded to the Lakers, coming over last year for 2 second-round draft picks, getting a chance now to play. And he is 6 of 7 tonight from the floor, 3 of 3 from the foul line, 17 points. He leads all scorers. Artest again inside. No. Harrison, and it'll be Indiana ball for a last shot. We've seen a 20-point swing in this game. Pacers led by 10 late in the first quarter, and now it's the Bobcats by 10. So Indiana will inbound. Jamal Tinsley instructing somebody else to trigger it. It'll be Steven Jackson. In the hands of Tinsley. He'll work it. 10 seconds to go. Crozier. 4 seconds. And there is Crozier. Oh, he throws it inside. Well, a perfect setup, as it turns out. Crozier all alone, but rushes the shot, and that just about is the punctuation mark of the second quarter for Indiana, as they are outscored by the Bobcats and trail by 10. Statistics.
Well, there you see the Pacers still shooting over 50%, but the free throw shooting -8 and points from the line, rebounding about even. There you see what the Bobcats do, fast break points, and then the points off turnovers. That's why they're on top.
The front wall for the Pacers contributing 38 of the 46 points. And among Jackson, Artest, and O'Neal, they have shot 16 of 26. The rest of the team have offered 8 points. And for the Bobcats, last night against Orlando, their starters for the entire game scored a total of 29 points. They have 48 in the first half. Rick Carlisle going with Jamal Tinsley to start this second half of play. Okafor, who responded in the first half, comes up short. Okafor has been without a double-double in the last 4 games. That has been his trademark. But tonight, 14 points, 5 boards in the first half. It's a wraparound foul against Ron Artest. As the first foul on Artest. So Indiana looking for the juice again that they had coming out. Dominating fashion early and going up against a Bobcat team that's missing their leading scorer, Gerald Wallace. He was out with a wrist injury. Elvin Eli, their big man off the bench, is out with a shin injury. And Brevin Knight, their quarterback, the leading assist man in the league. And there is Brevin. Tendonitis in the knee. He had 9 assists last night in the Orlando game.
A beautiful pass there by Raymond Felton as Jermaine O'Neal was casually getting back, feeling as though Primoz Brejec was out of the play. And another trip to the foul line for the Bobcats. Sometimes, Al, when things come easily and then you get complacent and settle into a rhythm and allow the other team to be the energizer and dictate things, it's hard to turn that faucet back on. Long way to go here, obviously, but Pacers are going to have to pick it up at both ends of the floor to de-energize this young Bobcats team.
Well, while the Pacers try to zone in at the foul line, the Bobcats have hit 18 of 20 from there. And there's a 10-point difference from the foul line alone. Jermaine O'Neal. And there is a foul inside away from the ball against Charlotte. And it's against Emeka Okafor. So O'Neal gets the basket. And Scott Pollard getting into it inside draws the foul.
We saw one of these earlier with Danny Granger and Jake Boxell. This time the script is flipped. Okafor shoving down Scott Pollard.
Pacers have had 3 days off since Milwaukee on Saturday. So they come in well rested, although perhaps agonizing in their mind over what happened at the Bradley Center, but seem to have played right through that in that first quarter. Didn't seem to be bothering them much. And the Bobcats lost their 5th straight going last night in Orlando. Right now they cannot touch Kareem Rush. He has hit 7 of 8 from the field, including 3 for 3 from downtown. 20 points for Rush. Tinsley looks to counter. Pacers battle for the offensive rebound. They are last in the NBA in offensive rebounds and have but 3 tonight. And Brezek's in the air. And the Bobcat lead now extends to 14. Tinsley tries another 3. Swish. Jamal Tinsley gets his first field goal tonight. Improving vastly from 3-point range last year. And actually coming into this game, Tinsley is the 6th best field goal shooter in the NBA here in the early going at 58%. But he hasn't shot in several games in a while. Tinsley gets the foul. That is his 2nd. So it is Rush to the foul line. You always worry when you're playing a team that's been on a losing streak and then also now missing some key players.
That's right. That's right.
You figure who's going to be stepping up? Well, there's the man tonight, Kareem Rush, former Laker. He's had some very big nights. He is known as a scorer. He's been inconsistent, but the Pacers got him on the wrong night. So Bernie Bickerstaff rolling the dice without Brevin Knight. He's starting his rookie, number 20, right there, along with Tinsley. Raymond Felton. Rush already has a season high, and we've just begun the second half. Jackson for three, and he's got it. Steven Jackson hits from downtown. The Pacers come into the game 40% shooters from three-point land. That's fifth best in the NBA. They've been taking advantage from afar. Tonight have hit 4 of 11.
This is where they've got to start picking it up. Defensively, they just have not been on top of their game here, Alex. Felton able to get into the lane. He'll have a chance for a three-point play here. The Bobcats have been able to get to the foul line as a result of penetration. There's the corner turn. Tinsley trying to go underneath. Pollard gets there, but I think his heels were on the restricted area line.
So Felton, who's struggling from the floor tonight, that was just his second field goal in 9 attempts. Walking in is Pollard, and he is fouled. So we're certainly starting to hear the whistle here tonight, which we expected. To the top three teams in foul shots attempted in the league.
How about this pass? Wraps it around the defender and then puts it right where he needs to for Pollard to simply catch and finish. Beautiful pass by Jamal Tinsley.
Pollard remains on the floor with the 4 fouls. That personal, by the way, could be key because it's the third on Kareem Rush. That's one way to slow him down, and he remains on the floor with the 3 fouls. Trying to go to Okafor. Pollard trying to stay away from that 5th foul. That's the range for Primoz. Pollard, nice job keeping Okafor away from that offensive rebound. Tinsley in a hurry gets it into the hands of O'Neal. Spins on Brezets. Got it. Beauty. Tinsley continues to find his teammates. So Jamal Tinsley checking in midway in the second quarter, and in 9 minutes of play has already dished out 5 assists.
And 3 of them have been of the room service dime variety.
Double team, and Pollard takes it away. Tinsley weaving his way through traffic, and inside to Artest, who was there. Would have been the 6th assist for Tinsley, another beauty, but Indiana will get the ball back. Artest said it himself.
Yeah, it should have been his 6th dime. Pacers have the possession back. Now they need to attack and get a good shot inside here. At least play inside out.
Jamal Tinsley igniting Indiana here in Charlotte. And there's a foul, and it goes against Felton. So Felton really with his hands full in his rookie season. This is 9th game, and going up against a fresh Jamal Tinsley.
It'll be interesting to see how long JT can maintain this high level of play. Again, he's missed significant time here, certainly game action, only 28 minutes in the last 3.
7 seconds to shoot. Tinsley now goes against the rookie Kevin Burleson. Pollard reels in, and with the left hand, Scott Pollard, a whirling move, and he gets Tinsley that 6th assist. Pacers cut it from 14 down to 6, back in business. Before the season began, Ron Artest took part in a charity auction. The prize, well, Ron would cook dinner for a group of 10. And that led us to ask his teammates, would you eat Ron Artest's cooking?
It depends. I mean, you can't go to somebody's house and not eat the food, but I wouldn't go out of my way. Let's just say that.
And here in the third quarter, Ron Artest and the Pacers are cooking once again for Ron tonight. 14 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds. Indiana on a 9-2 run. They have come out here in the third quarter the way they started the game, red hot from the floor. They've hit 6 of 8. Indiana will give Burleson that shot. Jamal Tinsley has energized this Pacer club. 6 assists coming off the bench. First stepped on the floor midway in the second quarter and starting here in the second half. So it's Tinsley going to Jermaine O'Neal, and he hangs Brezets up there. For the Bobcats, they have to look at the scoreboard and see 7:20 still remaining in the third. And they've thrown just about everything already at Indiana. Kareem Rush having the big night. Emeka Okafor having his best game in the last 6, and Bernie Bickerstaff knows that he is undermanned here tonight. And the Pacers down by as many as 14, trying to work their way back and trying to wear down the Bobcats.
Well, the key to being able to do that, Al, is simply to go back to the formula from the first quarter. Get the ball inside, attack the rim, and when you do have opportunities on the perimeter, make sure they come out of at least exploring inside first. And if they do that, and I think you're right, they will in fact put themselves in a position to wear down the Bobcats.
And start making foul shots. Pacers have made 10 tonight, and they've missed 9. Bobcats probing inside. Okafor, tough shot. And Artest gets to the basketball, but dribbles it off of his foot and out of bounds. So Pacers trying to rush it up the floor. And Charlotte has the basketball. Bobcats come in having won 2 and having lost 6. They started the season winning 2 of their first 3. First time this franchise has ever been over the 500 mark. But a 5-game slide in which they have actually played with very little energy. Last year, even though they won just 18 games, that was their trademark. They at least battled you all the way for an expansion team.
That's right.
But playing without a fire the last 5 games, especially Emeka Okafor. Sean May is back on. And Primož Brezec has worked up a sweat. You know how huge this one is for Primož. 0-3 against the Pacers last year. And there is a steal by Burleson. Takes it in with the left hand. The rookie out of Minnesota makes the steal and the bucket. So the Bobcats able to maintain a 7-point cushion. Burleson all the way up on Tinsley, gives him a little razzle-dazzle and draws the foul, the 3rd on Burleson, getting some PT in the absence of Brevin Knight this evening.
That's the bonus there. It's actually the 15th foul.
Well, the WB Thursday has all new episodes. 2 great shows. Don't miss Smallville at 8, Everwood at 9, and that's tomorrow night on Indiana's WB4.
Indiana's at the penalty.
So it presents Indiana with a couple of foul shots. Jamal has not taken many this year, only 7 this season. He's only played 4 games. And he rattles the rim on the first one. Jamal, averaging 10 points a game, has gotten off to a terrific start. 6th in the league in shooting, 58%. And you just imagine if Jamal adds shooting to his arsenal. 69-63 Charlotte. Midway in the 3rd, May prepared for that one.
Right, he sure wasn't.
Artest versus Okafor, and Artest staying with it, fighting with Okafor, and that's about the 3rd that Ron has been unable to complete inside, and he is upset at himself. So Artest with a great size, and oftentimes when he's going inside is spinning the body and trying to get that balance for the finish. The jump ball will be between Okafor and Jermaine O'Neal. Pacers front wall, the big 3 all in double figures, 18 for Steven Jackson and 14 apiece for Artest and O'Neal. And the 3 of them shooting at a high percentage. The tap is won by Charlotte. Charlotte will be in Indiana on Friday night. We're hoping to have Brevin Knight and perhaps Melvin Ely back for that game. Gerald Wallace appears as if he'll be out for a while. But you'll also be seeing Kareem Rush, and we continue this hot shooting. 24 points for Rush, who has hit 8 of 9 from the field, including 3 3-pointers. Pollard goes in and again works with that dazzling, lethal left hand. And Jamal Tinsley with the feed and his 7th assist. This is Rush being followed by Jackson. Jackson ate up Rush earlier in the ball game. And Sean May from the outside, the MVP in the Final Four. He had 10 of 11 for 26 points against Illinois for the championship. Turnovers continue for Indiana, and several of them have been in the unforced variety. And this is Raymond Felton, the other lottery pick. And all of a sudden, the Bobcats again by double figures.
He can really light you up, and that's exactly what he's doing to the Pacers tonight.
Jamal Tinsley gets a rest. Anthony Johnson, Fred Jones, Austin Crozier on with Jermaine O'Neal and Steven Jackson. O'Neal, no. Pacers continue to scramble for an offensive rebound, but they have been very hard to come by. Just 3 in the entire game. 4:20 left in the third quarter, and the Bobcats, who seem to be wilting, and Kareem knew we already put that Hardy shot-by-shot up there, so we couldn't get that one on the board. And that was a different miss than his only other one in the game.
It's only his second miss, though. Still got a lot of yellow balls on that Hardy shot chart.
But a second win for the Bobcats, just as it looked as if they were wobbling a bit. Now the Pacers have a long climb again. O'Neal, jumper, and Jermaine has lost his touch.
And no activity on the offensive glass for the Pacers.
One and done for Indiana. Raymond Felton looks like he's ready to fall over, but he hits that shot. So as he gets a little more tired, starting to hit his shots. He's hit the last 2. And the lead now back up to 14. The Bobcats have matched their biggest lead, withstanding this Pacer comeback bid here in the third. 10-2 run for Charlotte, and doing it from the perimeter. Remember what we said earlier, the scouting report against Charlotte: pack it in, let them shoot from the outside. Well, they have, and they're hitting tonight. And Bernie Bickerstaff seeing a 180-degree turn from last night in Orlando, and actually the last 5 games. Okafor has been in a slump, shooting under 30% from the floor over the last 6 ball games. He has 14 points tonight. Pacers a terrific start in the first quarter, up by as many as 10 on shooting. Made the turn since then. Battle back here in the third, but have lost their steam. 1 second to go. Jackson unaware of that, but O'Neal gets that rare offensive rebound. Run down by Crozier. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Jackson can't hold on.
Well, he took a shot to the face, and he's still trying to get his bearings about him.
Now it's down to 9 seconds. Pump fake and a shot by Anthony Johnson. Johnson, who had the ecstatic night against the Nets, going 7 of 8 from the floor. Now it's May who walks in, and right now the Bobcats are shredding the Pacers. A complete reversal from the first quarter. Pacers have missed their last 6 shots. They'll talk it over as they have fallen behind by 16. Biggest lead for Charlotte with a little over 2 minutes to go in the
penetration here by Raymond Felton, who's really done a nice job. His shot has been streaky, but he's competed at the defensive end. He's been able to find seams off the dribble penetration, and he's a terrific passer, as he showed you there, when he can get into the lane.
Well, there's the arithmetic. 81 for the Bobcats, 65 for the Pacers. And a chance to remind you what's coming up. Holiday week, you could feast on some Pacer basketball this Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving night, Pacers host LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then the following night, Al Harrington back in town as the Atlanta Hawks in Indiana. Tickets are available, 1-800-NBA-TICKS, 4NBA-TICKS, or just log on to Pacers.com.
I'll tell you what, Raymond Felton having a terrific floor game now. I know his shooting percentage is not that great, but he's hit a couple of big ones, and he's been a pest defensively, pressuring the ball, digging in on the post players.
Ron Artest back in the lineup, and he digs inside. Pacers came out and hit 7 of their first 10 shots in this third quarter. They would miss 6 straight until Artest just took that inside.
Really important for the Pacers to try to finish this third quarter with some kind of positive momentum. Defensive stops and then converting at the other end.
Oh, Jake Foster hitting from the outside. And it has become contagious for the Bobcats. We've mentioned this before. They're playing without 3 key players. 2 of their offensive heroes in Gerald Wallace and Brevin Knight. Ron Artest has come off the bench with the inside-outside punch. Hits that 3. Artest has hit a couple of 3-pointers. Now Indiana trying to work off of a turnover.
Calls by Ron Artest.
Isolated Artest against Felton. Got it. Ron Artest off the bench on fire. He is at 3 of 3. And he cuts the 16-point deficit down to 11 in the final minute of play. Felton squirts in the lane and feeds May. So the 2 Tar Heels team up here again. Certainly know one another.
They sure do, and you can see evidence of it. They've connected on a couple of nice opportunities, and what a great catch by Sean May. That ball was a fastball in baseball. It was about knee-high. The big fella went down there and cuffed it, and then was able to complete the 3-point play opportunity.
Wilmington North, the teammate of Jared Jeffries, went on the star at North Carolina. Playing his way into shape after off-season knee surgery happened in mid-September. Artest tries again and thought he had that one. Came as close as you can get, and it gives Charlotte the ball. They have 20 seconds to shoot, 3-second differential. Felton came in here with a pro high of 10 points. He also had a 10-assist game. Right now, he dribbles the basketball with 11 points and 9 assists, getting his first start and trying to become the story. And there he is, right on cue. He has found his shot here late. After a dismal shooting first half, Artest heaves another, almost tipped in by May. So Felton, who was 1 of 8 in the first half.
Well, that should be a goaltend. That ball looked like it had a chance to go in. That Ron Artest shot at the end of the quarter. And Rick Carlisle out there pleading his case to no avail.
That ends the third. Pacers have a 17-point mountain to clear. This is how third period ended. Rick Carlisle arguing, and that is a definite goaltend.
Oh, yeah.
On Sean May. As the ball is coming down, he deflects it as the ball hits the rim. So the Pacers lose 3 points on that one. As we move into our Miller Lite fourth quarter shootout, and our contestant is Beth Cook, who says Fred Jones will score the first Pacer field goal in the fourth quarter. And if Fred does it, Beth, you'll win an RCA television from Miller Lite. Pacers start with a basketball. Fred has it in his hands. Fred off a season high of 17 against Milwaukee, has not scored tonight. David Harrison, the turnaround. Pacers start with Harrison, Artest, and Crozier up front. Anthony Johnson and Fred Jones in the backcourt. Raymond Felton remains on the floor. He has a pro high of 14. Whips it into the hands of Sean May, and the 2 rookies are now going to town for Charlotte. Both in double figures. May comes off his first double-double last night, 15 points, 10 rebounds against Orlando. The game before, he had his pro high of 18 against Miami. That's the 10th assist for Raymond Felton, so he becomes the story in this one, sitting in for the starter, Brevin Knight, who may have a difficult time breaking back into the starting lineup.
Well, there was some concern, at least from us, in terms of the Bobcats being depleted. The rookie getting his first start at the point guard position as Brevin Knight sits out with tendonitis and a turnover, and Raymond Felton right in the middle of it. This kid has really been the difference, Al, because his pressure defensively has been disruptive all night long, and now he's starting to add that offensive game. He's knocked down some big threes, and he's also been able to find other people for high-quality shots. He's been the difference maker, I think, in this ball game.
His breakout game, 5th player selected in the draft, the 3rd point guard. behind Darren Williams of Utah and Chris Paul for New Orleans. This will be another turnover by Indiana, and that makes it number 18. Well, against Miami Saturday, Charlotte forced 27 turnovers. Turned that to 36 points against the Heat. But they lost by 9. So Felton now getting a well-deserved rest, and he will hear it from the crowd. Very popular picks, Felton and May, coming from North Carolina. The Charlotte Bobcat team in its second season. Not only local flavor with these two players, but two terrific players coming out. They did pass over on Danny Granger at that 13th pick to take May. But Bernie Bickerstaff saying it was not a ploy to just try to help in attendance. These are the two players they like. Felton was thought would not go as high as number 5. And there are the first 5 picks, with May coming in at 13th, Granger at 17.
Their teammate Marvin Williams, who came off the bench for North Carolina, was the second pick. So
Todd McCann's going after Sean May, so 4 players on that title team going in the first round. Artest comes out with that loose ball and turns it into 2. 23 points for Artest, who comes into this one having averaged 26 a game over the last 3.
On 52% shooting in those last 3 ball games.
Harrison just mows over Keith Bogan. Takes a look up, wondering what exactly hit him. So Harrison has a personal foul, his second. Okafor comes back in. Bobcats looking for their first ever win against the Pacers, losing 3 times last year, although there were all 3 close road games. One bounce, Okafor no. Harrison, Okafor grabs it. And that's the last touch by Indiana. So the Bobcats will have the basketball, and they'll change the shot clock. Bernie Bickerstaff, 30 years in the NBA as a president, a GM, as a coach. He has coached in Seattle, where he was Coach of the Year one season, in Denver and Washington. Started as a longtime assistant coach under Dick Motta. 12 years in Washington, won the NBA title in '78, led by the Big E, Elvin Hayes, Wes Unseld, May from way outside. 9.5 minutes to go. Rick Carlisle now going essentially with the bench along with this man, starter Ron Artest. Will get to the foul line again. The call goes against Okafor. So Okafor has his 3rd personal foul. And Kareem Rush, along with Raymond Felton, the number 1 and 2 stars for the Bobcats here tonight. Rush with his deadly outside shooting. And no shot on that foul shot. And the Indiana Pacers, Jonathan Bender not getting in here tonight, being spooked at the foul line. Never an issue for this team. Always one of the best foul shooting teams in the league. This year they were 3rd in the league going into the Milwaukee game, and shooting only 1% lower than the year before with all of Reggie Miller's made foul shots. But tonight 11 of 23 from the line, and that now for 2 straight games haunting the Pacers. Okafor wheels inside using the body. 16 tonight for Okafor. He had hit double-doubles his first 4 games, but the last 4 games had averaged only 9 points and 6 rebounds per ball game. 3 minutes into the 4th quarter, and the Bobcats lead now 21. Pick your card, and that Pacer does it. You'll win an RCA TV. Compliments of Miller Lite.
Well, this has been far less than the effort we anticipated on the heels of that cough up in Milwaukee.
Well, one of the bright spots for the Pacers tonight, handling the basketball, Jamal Tinsley back in action, looks for another assist, but the foul there denying Jermaine O'Neal the easy basket. Kevin Burleson, the personal, his 4th.
personal fouls on girls.
Tinsley in 13 minutes, 7 assists as he tries to work his way back into the flow. And now Jermaine O'Neal, who's 2 of 4 from the foul line. Bobcats, of course, known for their excellent foul line defense. Well, from the Charlotte Bobcats Arena, Pacers and the Bobcats on WB4. I'm Al Albert along with Special K, Clark Kellogg, Stacy Pates, Dr. Dunk, Darnell Hillman are back in the studio. O'Neal comes through with the second one. Well, it started so well for Steven Jackson. He had his first 4 field goals. He had 11 points in the first quarter. It looked as if the Pacers would streak by the Bobcats, especially after they hit 77% from the field in the first quarter. And you see the Bobcats now have turned that around, actually shooting better in the game.
26 for 42 are the Bobcats since the end of the first quarter. They were 7 of 22 at the end of the first quarter. And there you see the numbers.
And
Pacers
again,
headed south in that second quarter, regrouped a bit in the third, and the Bobcats have gotten better just about each quarter from the field.
and the Bobcats unable to find the basket in their 5-game losing streak at 38% from the floor. Twisting and turning, and May just showing you the moves with that great size, how effective he's going to be on the inside in the NBA. Getting more and more playing time now from Bernie Bickerstaff. They drafted him even though Emeka Okafor, the Rookie of the Year, same position player. And this is against Indiana. They may change the call. But this is May working, having the baseline.
Yep, just patient here, though. Look at the footwork. Spin, ball fake, up and under, and then lofts it just over the outstretched arm of Jermaine O'Neal. There you see his numbers. Another productive night for Sean May off the bench.
So he's been in double figures in each of his last 3 ball games. May said, and he came in here, actually what he wanted to basically concentrate on was hitting the boards and rebounding. There it is, showing the outside shot. That was an area that the experts said he would be challenged in the NBA, but he has come through here tonight, hitting from time and again from outside. Artest pulling inside, gets the field goal. He is just a rock. Even having trouble with the dribble, but he's got that
strength.
That too.
We call
the
it
ironclad hands.
The vice grip. Strength. He was determined to get to the hole there.
Well, we talked about the foul shooting off of the Milwaukee game before, and that the Pacers were kind of going to let that, don't want to make an issue of it. Not really practicing extra foul shots in their workouts the last 3 games. They're a good foul shooting team. Figure that was just one of those things in a bizarre conclusion in Milwaukee. An aberration, but it has now followed over into this ball game. 12 of 26 from the foul line.
That's been a part of it. Certainly a continuing story on the heels of what happened in Milwaukee, but the lack of focus and attention to detail defensively has been disturbing. The carelessness with the ball, even though this team does lead the league in forced turnovers, Pacers just did not play with the kind of force or focus that you need to play with every night.
And especially after that first period, this Bobcat team ready to be taken, undermanned, missing 3 key players, and it appeared as if they were tiring midway in the third quarter when the Pacers had moved to within 6. Jamal Tinsley drills his second 3-pointer. 7 points, 7 assists for Tinsley. Charlotte has hit 9 3-pointers. That's the 6th by Indiana tonight. May again from the outside. Here's Tinsley taking it off and running. He's teamed now with Yesikevich is on the floor. Another steal by the Bobcats. 19 turnovers. Bobcats are first in the league in forcing turnovers, 20 a game. Number 1 in steals at 12 per.
They've shown you why. I mean, they're quick and they pursue the ball. Raymond Felton, Burleson, Kareem Rush shooting the gap on passing lanes.
That had no shot, although the way he's been shooting here tonight, why not? And the shot clock was coming down. 5.5 to go. Artest, Jasikevičius, and he tries to make the play, even though he had the layup. But pretty by Indiana. Timeout taken. As we have 5.5 minutes to go here in Charlotte. Bobcats with
these guys, but this kind of stumbling start, and they lost tonight as well, Al, against Philadelphia. So their record goes to 0-8.
And on the disappointing note, the Pacers here tonight, after once again a dominating start in the first quarter, went up 30-22, hot shooting, but Bernie Bickerstaff, who could be as surprised as anybody with his son, JB, sitting next to him, to see the way this Bobcat team, undermanned, coming off a loss last night, 5 losses in a row, battled back, stayed in there, very scrappy team. This is the team, as we talked about, as advertised, what they're doing to try to compensate for being an expansion team and just starting to put together a lot of young talent. Clark's barometer showing us again the turnovers and the free throws. 2 out of 3 doing the Pacers in tonight.
Yep. Jermaine O'Neal has had a tough time getting his shots to go inside. Sean May, another terrific night for him off the bench. But I think the player of the game for the Bobcats has been Raymond Felton. In his first start, really dictated things. Was aggressive defensively, got his offense going late, set up people throughout the night. I really was impressed with the way he competed. I mean, he didn't give up much ground. He just kept fighting and clawing. And that's an impressive trait when you consider how this team has struggled here in the early going. They came out looking to try to get this game, and they went after it and got it.
And the rematch is set for Friday in Indiana, a 7 o'clock start. Bobcats hoping to get Brevin Knight and Melvin Ely back for that one. And the Indiana Pacers getting a quick chance for revenge against this young Bobcat team, looking for their 3rd win and this their 9th game. And another reason they have been so tired looking of late, they've had a heavy schedule.
Yes, exactly. Unlike the Pacers, it looked like they had played 7 games in 10 days the way they came out tonight after the first quarter.
And then the Bobcats will travel to Indy on Friday, and the schedule just gets tougher with 8 of their next 11 games on the road.
Well, the schedule evens out over the 6 months of the league, but clearly the Pacers have had the opportunity of easing into it here in the first couple of weeks, whereas the Bobcats have been playing and traveling just about every day.
Usually 1 of 2 from the foul line. Rick Carlisle trying to figure out what is unfolded in front of her here tonight.
Well, that's a helpless feeling as a coach. I think your guys are ready to come out and give the kind of effort needed to win in this league. And after the first quarter, it wasn't there. And even then, Al, as well as the Pacers shot it, they were only up 8. And part of that was due to sloppiness at the line and handling the ball. So there were signs.
That pass by Felton. And there's a foul called against Charlotte. Charlotte with 12 steals. They've forced 21 turnovers, so they're just about right on what they do per game this year. And the Pacers will go to the foul line with 4.5 minutes to go in this one. And Ron Artest will have a couple of shots. So if nothing else right now, Pacers continue to work at the foul line, where they have hit 15 of 30.
Wow. That's on the heels of 31 of 47, I think, against Milwaukee.
They'll do it again Friday night. Pacers looking to get one back from the Bobcats. And to mark the beginning of the balloting for the 2006 All-Star Game, the first 6,000 fans will receive a 2006 Pacers All-Star poster. Friday night, 7 o'clock start. Pacers against these battling Bobcats. Ron Artest is the leading scorer for Indiana, 27 points, so he continues his tear. He had 24 against Milwaukee, 30 against New Jersey, 24 against Miami, but Ron, who missed 4 foul shots in the last minute against Milwaukee, has missed 5 of his 8 tonight. Okafor with a couple of foul shots, and Emeka Okafor, whose parents are from Nigeria. He actually was the first member of the family born in the U.S., growing up in Houston. Pacers bench ineffective here tonight, accounting for 12 points. The Bobcats, who average 88 points a game over the last 5 defeats, hit 108 here tonight. And shooting over 50%, you know that will be a subject that Rick Carlisle will talk about after the ball game. Kareem Rush unstoppable. Rush with 29 points, and Rick Carlisle with 3.5 minutes to go, seeing the Bobcats walk through again for their one. Clark Kellogg, 3.5 minutes to go in Charlotte, with the hometown Bobcats on their way to a significant win in their young season. The Bobcats last year won only 4 games on the road. And this season, in the second game of the year, won in Philadelphia. Last year, they didn't win their first road game until the 22nd game of the season, and they will be on the road in Indiana on Friday night. You'll see Kareem Rush with shots like that. Kareem Rush last night scored 7 points against Orlando. He now has 32. He has just hit his 5th three-pointer of the evening, and he has tied a career high. So Rush exploding, and the Bobcats, of course, going into this game, knew they needed somebody to bring it big time. And they have been searching for that outside shot. That's why they picked up Rush from Los Angeles. He's been inconsistent, though, since coming over, but Pacers getting him on the wrong night. 32 points for Rush, and then they get the game by Raymond Felton. They replaced starter Brevin Knight, who is out with an injury. Hey, don't miss your chance to win a trip to New York City. Just watch Sex and the City the rest of this week on Indiana's WB4. Harrison will get another foul shot. Gerald Wallace, who's been out with a bone chip in the wrist. He's missed 3 games. Bobcats have lost all 3, but he creates a lot of the energy on the floor. He's number 1 in the league in steals, even without them. Bobcats with their 12 steals here tonight, and Okafor just beating the Pacers inside. Relief for Okafor, who had lost his scoring touch. He has 20 tonight after averaging 9 a game over the last 4.
Well, everybody got well tonight, Al. Green, Raymond Felton in his first start. Sean May continues with his solid production of late. The Pacers just weren't really here after that first quarter. Disappointing effort at both ends. Sloppy on offense, and then very, very non-resistant on defense.
And the same script now the last couple of games, where the Pacers come out dominating and not aware of the fact that it is a 48-minute ball game. And then all of a sudden lose their focus. For a team that is one of the deepest teams in the NBA, and something like this, something we should not be seeing, and they know it. And see what transpires in the day between this game and Friday when they meet again in Indiana.
Those guys got to regroup, lock down, and bring the kind of force and effort that they can bring. You got to do that every night in the league. Teams, no matter where they are, struggling or what have you, they still are competitors, and you got to come out and take games. You can't expect games to just come to you. You got to go get them.
And against anybody.
That's what I mean.
You know, you're going up against a Bobcat team, second-year team that's also fighting injuries and a tough scheduling problem. And the Pacers go into the Bobcat record book. Bobcats tonight, 117 points, the most they have scored in a game in their history. Well, look at what's coming to Conseco Fieldhouse. And the Pacers and the Bobcats coming up on Friday. Rockets with T-Mac, Tracy McGrady, and Yao Ming. That's 7 o'clock start on Sunday. LeBron James and the Cavs Thanksgiving night. Al Harrington and the Hawks the next night. Indiana Pacers with a 4-game homestand to bust out of this 2-game road malaise that they have unexpectedly fallen into.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Definitely playing much below their level here tonight. And a foul is called just to prolong this one. I suspect we have the post-game show coming up next. I know you always go in the locker room. You may have a little problem getting in the locker room in just amount of time. Rick may have a few extra words for his team tonight. Felton putting on the finishing touches now of his best night as a pro. Double-double. He has 18 points to go along with 10 assists, fighting his way past a 1-for-8 first half from the floor.
That was what was most impressive to me as I watched him up close, just the fight that he showed at the very start. And that fight carried him through the rough spot shooting the ball.
35 points. He has just hit his 6th three-pointer. So hot that the fire marshals have entered the building here in Charlotte. Will the Pacers be able to cool off Kareem Rush Friday night in Indiana? 14.5 seconds to go in this one. And the officials apparently not checking the scoreboard. 122 to 89. So the Pacers now with 2 games to think about for 2 different reasons. Losing to Milwaukee by 1 at the buzzer after leading by 14 with 3.5 to go. And now this one, just a total wipeout. So 2 games with extremes, but certainly have to have the Pacers thinking. And the crowd responds. 32-point victory for the Bobcats. As the Pacers, for the 2nd consecutive game, take a trip through the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
The final arithmetic. Raymond Felton as a starter, superb. Kareem Rush has a career night with 35.